Hello friends, it's Kat from Meow Meow Kapow. If you'd like to see a full breakdown and review of the Shinhan PWC watercolor line, I'll link to the video I did of a comparison of the PWC paints versus their student grade paints, a distinction which is also made between the two in that video. So, check the iCards and the doobly-doo for that if you haven't already seen it. Plus, there will be links to all the materials used down in the doobly-doo if you're curious. In this video, we're not going to spend a whole day making one layering test or comparing how one color works against another or any of the other significant testing stuff I've done before. Today we're just going to play. Looking at these colors, you may be thinking, but Kat, all of those are really warm and you've made your preference for cool tone colors very clear. Why yes, what an astute observation, my super detective friend. These are not colors that I would normally choose for myself. In fact, I didn't choose them at all. You see, forever and a day ago when I initially did a test of the Shinhan PWC paints, the stars just happened to align in perfect astrological harmony. I swatched those paints and did a mini review of them. At the same time, a friend of both real life and the channel just happened to buy some paints secondhand from Eve Bolt, fellow YouTuber and also friend. And this all just happened to occur right as the non-Eve Bolt friend and I were planning to see each other and hang out. So, if you happen to be one of Eve's viewers, and as both the friend who gave these to me and I thought upon seeing this color selection, think it's the most Eve Bolt palette that's ever Eve bolted, you'd be right! These colors are so distinctly reminiscent of her adventure cats that it's just an unmistakably Eve selection. Which actually is really nice because up until this point, I had only had access to 3 PWC paints, the cool tone primary set I put together on the fly. Not a single one of the colors in this handful overlaps with what I already have, but I'm actually really happy to see them at this party because of that. As many of you know, when I get new materials, I like to make a doodlefinder to test them out and just enjoy the process. So I slapped together a quick and dirty mini palette in the same method I usually do, and got to scribbling on the page. If you're not familiar with my doodlefinders, I essentially take a big scribble and look for whatever images inside of it I can find. Most of the time, they're pretty nonsensical, which is how we ended up with some kind of shark person, 2 birds, and a slightly miffed old man in a lumpy turtleneck. Now, Indigo is a color I already use pretty regularly across multiple brands, so I already knew it would get plenty of love from me. The color that surprised me the most at how much I enjoyed it, though, was the brown red. It's absolutely not a color I would have picked up on my own, but one which has absolutely proven itself useful. Just as a point of personal fact, warm colors are so much easier for me to mix a deep black quickly, and both the indigo and brown red were instrumental for getting there almost instantly. The brown red, as well, became essential while working on the skin tones of the only human on the page, being both used in its raw form for blush shades, as well as being diluted and mixed to create the base skin tone overall. In a way, receiving these 5 random to me, even though this is actually very clearly a super reasonable and logical set of colors, reminded me a bit of subscription boxes. A good subscription box either introduces you to new materials or to familiar materials but framed in a way that encourages you to explore. Given that I've already used this brand of paint, having sudden access to new and not my typical style colors has been awesome. From the moment I first got these, all I wanted to do was play, and that's how art supplies should make you feel. You should want to get them out and use them, not find it a total hassle or something to dread just slightly. I experiment with a lot of different mediums because I have a ridiculous number of creative interests, but there are certain ones I explore more often. For instance, I love oil painting and sewing, but I haven't found a compact setup that makes either craft quick and portable. So while I love them, those materials often stay in boxes until I suddenly go on month-long oil or sewing kicks. Watercolors, on the other hand, are something that have become ridiculously accessible for me, and the vast variety of brands and qualities has made the medium something I always get excited to explore further. Finding a particular brand as well that sparks that curiosity just a couple of inches more, pretty much invaluable. I don't know about you, but I have the most fun with my art when I'm actually excited about it, either because the subject is interesting or because the materials themselves bring me utter joy. Oh gosh, am I about to become the KonMari of watercolor paints? You can't take my hoarder stash away from me! Not no way! Not no how! I'd love to hear about what inspires you and brings you joy when it comes to your creative process. For me, randomness, cats, and humans are the subjects that always get me ready to go. And if we're talking about watercolor paints in particular, I'm so far happiest and most inspired when pulling out my Shinhan PWC, Sennelier, or Daniel Smith paints. Until I see you next time, I wish you peace, love, and a super big mug of your favorite tea.